However, despite Ehrman's evident skepticism when turning to task of writing about Jesus in the early church, Ehrman himself assumes the sufficient certainty of the New Testament.
No.
He talks about things that Jesus would have done and thought, and the life that was back then.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. Egg on face. Recently, Ehrman has written a book called Did Jesus Exist?, where he argues against a small group called mysticists that Jesus did in fact exist.
Oh, and what's the proof of that? Where does he get his material for that?
Man. So throughout the book, Ehrman rightly defends the historical existence of Jesus, but his arguments are based on the assumption that we can actually know what the New Testament authors said. Oh man.
Wow.
Well, maybe not the salvation stuff, but we know that Jesus
That's
exists.
right. That's
So
right.
we're confident in that.
And we know based on what the New Testament has to say.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
I think Jesus was just added later. There was no Jesus. He reconstructs a historical Jesus using primarily the words of the New Testament Gospels.
Wow. So I can't trust it. I don't know if it's true. I don't, I think it's all been changed. It's been corrupt. But if I want to defend the fact that Jesus did exist, I go to the New Testament to show that is what we see here, right? What do you call that? Hypocritical? I don't know exactly what you call that, right?
If you can't do it for that, you can't do it for any Caesar. Rome exists, sure, the Colosseum's there, but you can never know what happened there. You just know a building exists because it's still there. So what does that mean? Ehrman would not be able to make such an argument if he did not trust, at least in a general and significant way, the transmission of the New Testament.
Exactly.
If it's so outlandish, the perfect example is the Gnostics. The Gnostics come in very early. Michael Kruger also has a book about Christianity in the 2nd century, and the Gnostics come in, and one of their main claims, it's kind of they're all over the place theologically, but a majority of a big section of their claims is that Jesus didn't exist at all. Like he existed as kind of a vapor. He was there in spirit form, but not body. And so First John you kind of see this proto-Gnostic response. Why is John telling us in First John here, that we saw, we touched? He seems very concerned with the physicality of Christ, of the incarnation, and so. If the Gnostics are right, if the evil orthodoxy comes by and says, no, we can't have a mystical Jesus who exists in this vapor form. Jesus physically existed, but we're going to wipe out everything. Yeah. So shouldn't Ehrman say, well, we don't know if he really existed or if he's just this apparition. So maybe he's an alien projected version of
course, that's
something.
what the folks that he was arguing against, that's where they were saying that he really didn't.
Right.
And so he uses the New Testament to prove his case that Jesus existed, even though he claims he believes that the New Testament is so corrupt that we don't even know what it says. Right. You can't have it both ways, right? One of Ehrman's central points in misquoting Jesus is that scribes at times intentionally change the text, right? Ehrman can make such an argument only by assuming that he can know with some degree of confidence what the original text actually said, right? Otherwise, how do you know they intentionally changed it?
Yeah,
right?
And intentionally. I mean, there's a lot of proof that you have to do for intentional.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say, this line was taken out on the copying way, and it just continued on, and it's lost in the history of the vapor. But it's another thing to say, twirl the mustache and cross it out, and I blotted it out from God's word. Yeah. Those are two drastic claims.
Yeah. So on the one hand, it seems that Ehrman has more confidence in the transmission of the text than it sometimes appears. Right. But yet, on the other hand, Ehrman often still insists on taking an all or nothing approach. So one must either be absolutely certain or absolutely cynical about the reliability of transmission of the New Testament, right? And so again, you can't have it both ways.
Right.